albinism is a condition wherein a person or an animal lacks the skin pigmentation melanin, making their skin pure white. It was thought of as a curse in olden days, but modern research has given us a clear understanding about this condition. Today we're going to look at 10 of the most amazing albino animals. Make sure you watch until number 1. That albino animal may have more Twitter followers than all of us combined. Number 10. Zebras. When discussing albino animals, zebras rarely come into the picture. It's probably because black and white stripes are what first comes to mind when talking about these beautiful animals. But in fact, albino zebras do exist. They are beautiful. There is one amazing specimen photographed back in February of 2019 by a wildlife photographer, Sergio Piedemits. This picture was snapped near a watering hole in Tanzania's Serengeti National Park. He first thought it was just a zebra that rolled in the dirt, but as he watched it drink and splash its way into the watering hole, the dust did not wash off. What he spotted was apparently a zebra with partial albinism. This golden zebra, instead of being all white, was white with golden stripes. This type of albinism is regularly observed with domesticated animals, but is extremely rare out in the wild. The good news, this golden zebra seems to be well accepted by the herd and is just a regular part of the gang. In fact, it even exudes behavior as if it was the dominant male of the group. In other words, it's the prototypical blonde stallion. Number 9. Reindeer. Move over, Rudolph. Here's one that just might replace you as Santa's favorite reindeer. In hindsight, Santa's kind of a jerk, so that may not be a terrible thing. Extremely elusive and rare, albino reindeers have seldom been spotted in the wild, but when they are, they cause quite the sensation. Pure snowy white, they are quite hard to spot against a snowy backdrop, which adds to their rarity. Coincidentally, this also makes them extremely hard to photograph. So when one literally approached a photographer and posed for a picture back in 2017, the press was all over it. While hiking with some friends in the mountains in Norway, Mads Nordsveen spotted something white and moving somewhere in the distance. He decided to approach it, fully expecting the animal to run away as he approached, but he was happily mistaken. As he got closer, it became quite clear that the animal was a rare albino reindeer fawn, and it was surprisingly not afraid of the approaching explorers. Mads and the reindeer came so close they were even able to look each other in the eyes. Of course, Mads took the opportunity to take photos of this rare and exquisite animal, and the fawn even seemed to like the attention. He posted the photos on Instagram, where it has now garnered thousands of likes, probably due to the cuteness of the fawn. Number 8. Skunks. Imagine you're in your yard, maybe the light is dim and you spot what you think is a white cat. You go over to pet the nice kitty only to be greeted by the most foul-smelling spray you can imagine. Albino skunks, like all animals with albinism, lack color pigments, and this fact makes the albino skunk a very dangerous animal. Color pigmentation and patterns are used by animals in the wild for many things, one of which is a warning signal for other animals or even people. This is meant mainly not to approach them lest something bad, or in this case, smelly, happens. Lacking black in its fur, albino skunks don't have the usual black and white markings that advertise it as being a skunk and in relation a stink bomb. So when you're in your yard in dim light and you spot something pure white that kinda looks like a cat but you're not 100% sure, it's best if you curb your curiosity and just stay away. Number 7. Ostriches. Albino ostriches are quite rare in the wild, so when a traveling circus advertises a white ostrich as part of their show, people come in droves to see it. The big problem here is that ostriches are quite stupid and aggressive. Rarely a good combination. Back in 2001, one extremely rare albino ostrich escaped a traveling circus and went on a rampage in the city of Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky. Residents of the area were warned to stay away from it when spotted, in order to avoid its potentially dangerous kicks, and with good reason. Ostriches, albino or otherwise, are very dangerous creatures. They can run at 70 kilometers per hour, more than enough to run after a fleeing man. They can also kick like nobody's business, and there are quite a few ostrich kick-related injuries and fatalities that have been documented in the past. Fortunately, in this case, the runaway albino ostrich was found and was taken back to the zoo with little to no incident. Number 6. Stingrays. Albino stingrays are rare creatures, even in the stingray-rich waters of Australia. But they do exist, and although infrequent, they have been filmed out in the wild. The latest one found was filmed in July of 2018 just off the coast of southern Australia, and it truly was a magnificent specimen. This albino stingray is a short-tailed stingray, which is a species that can grow up to 13 feet long. The one filmed was about 6 feet long, so it still had some growing to do. The stingray, which has been dubbed Crystal by local divers, had part of her tail cut off by some unknown event, making her look more unique compared to her companions. Since her discovery, she has been frequently seen by divers in the area, clearly not minding the intrusion and the attention she is getting from humans. Crystal is not the only albino stingray that was discovered in recent times, though. Another one was spotted a few years before Crystal was filmed, this time in the UK channel. However, it was a juvenile, and the tiny little thing can't be compared to the majesty of Australia's Crystal. Number 5. Lobster. Probably the rarest albino animal on our list, it is said that the chances of someone catching one of these creatures is 100 million to 1. Which means you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning than catching one. However, specimens have been caught in the past, and one was caught in a lobster pot as recently as 2018. A ghost lobster, as it is also called, was caught by a fisherman just off the coast of Stoningham, Maine. Mike Billings, the fisherman who caught the lobster, knew that they existed but admitted that this was the first time he's even seen one, much less catch one. These lobsters look too beautiful to eat. Their lack of pigmentation making them look almost translucent, hence their ghostly nickname. The one Billing caught wasn't eaten though. Strict regulations govern the harvesting of lobsters, and this albino one was simply too small to be kept, so he promptly threw it back into the ocean, but not before taking a few snapshots of it. Number 4. Snails. You might think that albino snails are rare, but they aren't. In fact, unlike their regular cousins who often find themselves on dinner plates, they are mostly kept as pets. In an aquarium, they're quite useful too. They clean algae off of glass, plants, and decorations. They eat hair algae, and they keep your substrate clean and the correct color. They're totally safe with any fish, shrimp, or plant, and are completely peaceful. These snails are quite large as adults, growing up to 3 inches in diameter. Albino snails have albino white bodies with iridescent markings, and their shells are striped with different shades of brown, making them a striking and elegant addition to any aquarium. For some strange reason, they are generally much more active and display more playful behavior than other types of freshwater snails. This is why they're awesome to keep in aquariums. They frequently climb up the glass walls, and as soon as they reach the top, they'll often let go, rapidly gliding down to the bottom before repeating the process and climbing up again. If you find that you can stare at an aquarium for hours at end, then these guys are the perfect pets for you. Number 3. Great white sharks. While spending the day in Australia's port hacking New South Wales, local Luke Anslow happened upon a rare find. A small shark had washed up on the beach, and a closer look revealed the creature was completely colorless. Initial reports suggested the animal was an albino salmon, mako, or porbeagle shark, but in fact what he found was a juvenile great white shark. The shark has a condition that is not quite albinism, but pretty close to it. It's called leucism, which is also the lack of any skin pigmentation, but unlike albinos, doesn't extend to the eyes. If this shark was a true albino, the eyes would have appeared red or purple, not the typical black. Sure, that may be a little cheating on this list, but it's still a pretty cool find. The shark showed no signs of injury, but the local fisheries department hopes further analysis of the body will shed some light on what caused the animal to strand. Anslow said that he first saw the shark thrashing about in the shallows before it eventually beached. This isn't the first time we've seen a leucidic shark pop up in the news. Back in 2000, fisherman Brian Cantrell managed to catch and release a partially albino black-tipped shark off the coast of Texas. But this is certainly the first for the great white species. Now it's time for a change. Today's best pick is composed of 2 albino animals that we can confirm to actually exist. Number 2. Alligators and gorillas. The world's only specimen of an albino gorilla is aptly named Snowflake. He was caught by a farmer in Equatorial Guinea in October of 1996. Snowflake was the only survivor of his gorilla group, as the farmer slaughtered the rest. What a happy story. He was then bought by primatologist Jordi Sabater, who then flew him off to Barcelona. Upon his arrival to Barcelona in November of 1996, he was given an official reception by the then mayor of Barcelona, Josep Maria de Porsolis, and he was then called Blancanieves or Snow White in the newspaper Tele-Express. However, he became famous with the name given to him by Sabater when National Geographic magazine featured him on the cover in March of 1997 with the English name Snowflake. Probably the most famous albino alligator in the world is Claude, which is kept at the California Academy of Sciences. He was born in the wild in 1995 and was quickly captured and kept in activity, and with good reason. Albino alligators have a hard time surviving in the wild. The lack of skin pigmentation takes away one of their most important predatory abilities, the art of camouflage. Without this, they'll find it very difficult to hunt. There were only about a dozen known specimens of albino alligators, all of them kept in captivity.
I saved the best for last, but first, I have a quick challenge that takes only 5 seconds to complete. If you can leave a like and subscribe.
1. Whales. Albino whales are rarely seen. In fact, they rival albino lobsters when it comes in rarity. But there is one albino whale in Australia that is regularly seen and is quite the local celebrity. Migaloo, the albino humpback, is well known in Australia, where he regularly travels along the country's east coast during migration season. First spotted in 1991, Migaloo is the world's only known albino humpback. He has been seen nearly every year since its discovery, and he even has his own website and Twitter account, where you can follow along with the most recent sightings of this amazing animal. A jewel in the crown of Australia's lucrative whale watching industry, Migaloo has also become a conservation ambassador for his kin across the region. His popularity helped usher in legal changes to keep boats, jet skis, and other watercraft farther away from humpbacks. Which amazing albino animal would you like to see one day? Let us know in the comment section down below. Want more videos about amazing animals? Click on any of the videos you see on the screen. As always, thanks for watching everybody, and we will see you all next time.